You know that person who stands out by not trying to stand out at all? The one who just watches the world with their actual eyes while everyone else captures it through a lens. They aren't ghosts or hermits living in a cave. They are simply protecting a piece of their humanity that most of us have already traded away without even realizing it. While 5 billion people are currently glued to their screens, searching for a spark, these individuals are already plugged into the only reality that actually matters. In 2026, choosing not to use social media isn't just a lifestyle preference. It has become a radical act of rebellion against a system designed to own you. We were promised a global village and endless connection, but instead, we were handed digital cages that prioritize performance over any actual human experience. Life has slowly turned into a 24/7 audition for an audience of strangers, where you are the actor, the editor, and the product all at once. We trade our most precious resource, our focus, for digital coins and likes that have absolutely no value the moment you lock your screen. The hidden cost of this game is your autonomy. You've stopped living for yourself and started living for the feedback loop of an algorithm. So, why did he decide to stop? Why did the man in the green sweater walk away from the digital hive and never look back? It all starts deep within the dopamine-driven loops of your brain, in the same primitive centers that govern our most basic survival instincts. We've been biologically hijacked and trained to crave a double tap just to feel seen, as if our existence requires a digital witness. Even the most delicious meal loses its flavor if it isn't validated by a heart icon from someone you haven't spoken to in 10 years. This is extrinsic motivation at its worst, a dangerous and hollow fuel that leaves your soul feeling empty no matter how much you consume. We wait for notifications like they are a final verdict on our worth, letting a piece of glass decide if we are enough today. When the phone stays silent, the modern mind begins to panic, feeling as if it has vanished from the face of the earth entirely. But those who had the courage to leave have reclaimed their own brain chemistry. They've taken back the keys to their own happiness. Their satisfaction is now internal. It is a quiet, steady flame that doesn't need a Wi-Fi signal to stay burning bright. They've learned to experience beauty in its rawest form, without the constant, nagging need to find the perfect filter or the right caption. For them, the moment is finally enough. The sunset is a miracle to be felt, not a piece of content to be harvested for status. They've realized that having 0 likes doesn't make their experiences any less real. In fact, it makes them more sacred because they are yours alone. Quiet presence in a world of noise is now the ultimate luxury. It is the only place where you can actually hear your own thoughts. Social media has a dark, psychological underbelly that we are often too addicted to acknowledge or even talk about out loud. It has forced us into a state of continuous, partial attention, where we are never fully present in the lives we are actually living. You are never 100% anywhere anymore. You are always half here and half somewhere else, chasing a ghost on a digital screen. You're at dinner with someone you love, but your mind is wandering through a curated feed of people you don't even like. The blue light from the screen acts as a digital hypnosis, lulling us into a trance where hours disappear into a void of scrolling. We have traded the vastness and complexity of the real world for a narrow, 5-inch window that shows us only what it wants us to see. Every day, we curate a performance for an audience of bots and strangers who are too busy with their own performances to even notice ours. But the outsider has simply walked past the barrier. He has stepped out of the theater and back into the light of the real world. When he speaks to you, he is actually there with you. His eyes aren't darting to a notification. His mind isn't elsewhere. He doesn't feel the need to edit his truth or polish his flaws just to fit into the narrow boxes of a social media algorithm. He inhabits his life rather than marketing it. He treats his days as experiences to be felt, not as products to be sold. These platforms were meticulously designed by engineers who use the same psychological triggers found in high-stakes Las Vegas slot machines. Every pull to refresh motion is a gamble for a hit of novelty, a desperate pull of the lever hoping for a tiny reward. Your brain has been rewired to crave a hit of something new every few seconds, destroying your ability to focus on anything meaningful. Win or lose, we check our phones hundreds of times a day, driven by an invisible itch that we can never quite scratch. This psychological hook is stronger than any physical chain because it's wrapped around the very parts of you that seek connection and love. Did you know you give away roughly 38 full days of your life every single year just to the act of scrolling? People who opt out simply take those 38 days back. They reclaim a month of their life every year to spend on themselves. They protect their focus like a precious resource, while everyone else lets it be drained away by 1,000 tiny digital cuts. Keeping your brain intact and your attention span long in 2026 is nothing short of a radical act of self-preservation. Why do we feel the need for 500 acquaintances we haven't seen in a decade? Why do we spread our energy so thin? One deep, unfiltered conversation by a fire is worth more than a million generic comments on a photo you spent an hour editing. They've traded the exhausting theater of a curated life for the simple, quiet authenticity of a life that is actually lived. Real life is what happens in the unrecorded seconds, the moments that are too ordinary to post, but somehow perfect anyway. Of course, society will push back. They will call you weird, antisocial, or out of touch just because you broke the spell. We label people as aliens for leaving the digital hive because their freedom reminds us of our own self-imposed captivity. People ask, how do you keep in touch? As if human connection didn't flourish for thousands of years before the invention of the hashtag. Real connection survived long before the internet, and it will survive long after these platforms have turned into digital graveyards. We don't actually fear that they are missing out on the world. What we truly fear is the possibility that they might be right. We fear the mirror they hold up to our habits, showing us how much of our lives we've traded for empty, glowing pixels. While we are busy building a personal brand, they're busy building a real life with real roots and real consequences. They plant seeds in the actual earth and build things with their hands, while we build castles in a digital sky. If you feel that quiet urge to delete it all and disappear from the feed, you should know that you are not alone in that feeling. Leaving the digital hive isn't about losing anything. It's about escaping a system that views your attention as its property. You aren't missing out on the world by putting your phone down. You are finally, for the first time, actually seeing it. Take off the digital headset. You'll find that reality is more vivid, more colorful, and far more rewarding than any high-res screen. The most meaningful parts of your story are the ones you will never share with an audience. They are yours to keep. True joy doesn't need a witness to be valid, and a beautiful moment doesn't need a like to be a success. These quiet, unrecorded seconds are the true currency of a life well lived. They belong to you and no one else. In a world obsessed with performance and visibility, choosing to be unobserved is the ultimate form of modern freedom. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own. Don't let it be sold to the highest bidder by an algorithm. Every second spent scrolling through a stranger's life is a second of your own life that you will never, ever get back. You are giving your life away to someone else's agenda. It's time to take it back and spend it on what truly matters. You aren't antisocial for choosing real-world depth over digital breadth. You are just being human in an increasingly artificial world. You are choosing to actually live your life instead of just documenting it for people who aren't even really looking. Being yourself without a curated audience is the most revolutionary and authentic thing you can be in this century. So go ahead, step away from the noise, lock your screen, look up, and realize the world has been waiting for you all along. Hit subscribe now, because on this channel, we don't just watch people exist, we decode why they do. Stop scrolling through the noise. Start understanding the signal.